Okay, so let's get started. I'm gonna start off by kind of telling you what I'm not really going to be talking about in this video. There are three things that I'm not going to spend too much time on. One of them is seventh chords, like drop two seventh chords. The second one is fourth voicings, and the third one is open string voicings. I think when it comes to guitar players, those three things kind of pretty much covers what I see with a lot of students or when I go see people play. That sort of, those three things kind of make up what is sort of the common guitar vocabulary harmonically or chordally. Now, I want to emphasize that all of these three are great sounds. They're all very useful, and in certain situations, they're really the appropriate choice. The reason I'm not going to be talking about these types of voicings too much is that I think there's a lot of literature available already about these types of sounds, and I think you might be very familiar with these kind of sounds already to a certain extent, and they may be very familiar to you. So what I mean by that exactly is drop two voicings is a technical term. If you're not familiar with it, basically what it means is that if you take a chord such as C major 7 and you play, just up in thirds, C, E, G, B, if you were to write that on a blackboard and you take the second note from the top, meaning the G, you drop that down an octave, or you get, which is the second inversion of C major 7. And most of you will be very familiar with these chords, and it's a great sound. It's been around for a long time, and obviously there are some incredible players that had this as a big part of their vocabulary. Like the whole kind of kind of Wes Montgomery type of chordal solo thing, and like I said, it's a beautiful sound. It's a great sound, and it's used a lot for a reason. However, there's a lot of literature out there about these kind of sounds. If you're not that familiar with them, they're very there's a lot of information about them, and I strongly recommend spending a lot of time on them, specifically when it comes to the drop two voicings. I really recommend that you go through all the inversions of all the different chord types, and also over the whole range of the guitar, meaning from all the way up here, to the middle range, to all the way down here. These drop two chords are really helpful in giving you a way of playing harmony in the lower range, because you will end up with like fifths in the bottom, or thirds in the bottom. Like these kind of sounds where you can play them down quite low, and it's not going to interfere with the bass, as opposed to if you had, say, a ninth in the bottom or a seventh in the bottom, where you'd have to be a bit more careful about the range you're playing them in. So it's a good vehicle for really exploring the bottom range of the guitar. When you have all your harmony sort of down here on the bottom four strings, that kind of opens up, this other range on top, where you can have a sort of a more a melody voice that's sort of separated from the chord in a nice way, almost like more like a piano, where say you have a right hand in a certain register, and then you have, a left hand in a certain register, and then you have a right hand that's quite independent and quite removed from the chord. So more than just like having a top note of a voicing, because it has that distance, it gives it a particular kind of sound that I think is very nice. And a way of developing that or exploring that